Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Stevenson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Open Heart Tours Talking Text Line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Audacy app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning, Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us in the Open Heart Talking text line. Got my wife, law partner, mother of our children. Michelle joined us. Albert's on assignment.
Oh, okay.
He's out on assignment to consume adult beverages at functions.
Oh.
So he's out on assignment.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we were out on assignment last night.
We were in the city.
In the city, the Hilton. We had the
Giving Hope Gala.
The Giving Hope Gala by Troy Duhon and his foundation.
That's right.
Feeds, does a lot of good things, and so Troy invited us, and we saw Tommy Tucker there.
We did. He was the MC.
He was the MC. Yes, did a good job. Now, he sang for us, too. Tommy did. He sang
Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly Me to the Moon. And is he going to be tendering his resignation, WWL, and pursue his musical career probably this week?
Somehow I'm thinking not.
Probably not. He was good. He was good.
He was very good.
He was very good. So it was a good night and late night.
It was a very late night.
Yeah, it's good to see him. I hadn't seen him since his transformation. He looks great.
Yeah, he does look great.
He looks great. He looks great. So,
and the new mayor was there.
Yes, you know, as I get older, like I used to be 20 years ago into the political stuff, campaign, and I don't want to do that anymore. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see a dignified lady representing the city.
Yes. It was refreshing.
Refreshing. You know, she's a very classy lady, very dignified, very well-spoken, very thoughtful. You know, we'll see how things work out. We wish her the best, but what a contrast from what we had before or what we have now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So wish her the best of luck. We hope she gets a lot of wisdom. I think she's going to be boots on the ground. From what I can see is, you know, you need to be part cheerleader, and part, you know, to be able to coalesce. Because, you know, the room had a lot of pretty much the whole political spectrum there.
Yeah, it was a very diverse crowd.
And so, you know, you need someone who can just, you know, rally everyone around. My hope for her is that she really understands what needs to be done to bring business and commerce to the city of New Orleans, which should start with safety,
Sure.
Friendly business environment.
Don't you think she knows that from being on the council though? So long?
Yeah. She should,
Yeah.
and we hope she does. And so we wish her the best, you know, best of luck. I think I used to work. I think when she was at Channel 6, I was at 6 for a couple of years back in the 2000s.
She was there.
Very, very nice, very nice. So that was nice. And our Tigers won yesterday.
I know.
It was, how can I say, it was probably not all wins are good, but they really gutted it out.
Yeah.
And they did some things because they could have lost by maybe 21 points if
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, so I was going to ask you, was it a good game? Was it, because we've been to a game where we've won and it still felt like we lost.
I think what put them over the top was playing for Coach Wilson. In other words, they played with emotion.
Well,
They played with some heart, which had been missing.
Yeah, we hadn't
And
seen that.
I love Coach Wilson. I thought if he would beat Alabama and it came out like gangbusters, he would get consideration for being a head coach, which would be a very bold move. But I think he would be a good head coach. I really do.
Because of his relationship with the players.
Yeah, I think
Experience.
the landscape's changed. When looking back on it, when I hired Coach Kelly, it was pre-NIL. It was the year before NIL really came into existence, or was starting to. And his paradigm was pre-NIL. And I don't think he evolved in a way to accommodate the new landscape between NIL and today's player. A lot of the players I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, Jordy Holberg, who was on his radio show. When he played for Coach Dale Brown, you just did what he said.
Right.
And you didn't want him to have a brownout, is what they called. And I think that you had a different psychic for the athletes. But now I think the players need a lot more external affirmation than they did back then. They need a lot more communication. They need a lot more understanding that they did in the past. And
you mean from the coaching staff?
Yeah. I think they need to know why. A lot of times, it was more coaches just said, do this.
Well, and I think there was a hierarchy. I think there was the coaches and then the players. But now the players some of them are making as much.
Making more than the coaches. Well, they're the product. And in the NFL, you had to sort of do that. You had some of the old line coaches like Coach Parcells and people like that who never really, had a hard time adapting to the new, I guess, free agency and how far you could push someone in their way and how to get something out of someone in a way that the player may seem offensive, but the coach is just trying to get it out of you.
Yeah.
And so you have to have you have to be more of a facilitator. And I think Coach Wilson understands that. He understands what the players need to get that extra out of them to win. Because the difference between winning and losing is thin. Like Arkansas has lost 7 games this year by less than 6 points, which means, an extra session in the weight room or extra something you do over and above what you thought you could do. It's just the margin for winning is so thin. And, I think you just need that sort of coach. Even like a guy like Lane Kiffin. I mean, he's sort of a Gen Z coach.
Yeah. But I remember hearing or listening to Coach Saban that part of the reason why he was exiting then was that the whole game had changed. NIL had changed. The transfer portal had changed everything. And
his method of getting that extra out of you is being tough on you. But a lot of times when you're young and you're that tough on you, before they couldn't leave or they'd have to sit out a year. Right. So by the time they got through, his process was able to be implemented.
Right.
But now when he would do that, players would leave. And yes, that was a lot of his frustration because his paradigm, which is interesting, he's being mentioned as a possible candidate. I will say this, when you read that, so-and-so has been contacted by LSU, LSU's contacted everyone. Okay, so they're doing it, casting a wide net. So anything is possible, but don't believe anything.
Yeah.
And so there's no excluded possibilities. Even Coach Saban and men like that, or coaches like that, once they get the itch, when they have a little downtime, they're like, "You think I can do this again?" It's just in them, and whether I doubt he comes back. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. I doubt he comes back, but if the thought he analyzed whether he should or didn't, should not. But we'll see. Now, the interesting thing also, okay, we'll talk. I guess we'll talk after. We're going to go to break in about 6 minutes, but we'll talk about Coach Kelly and the declaratory judgment, and we'll tie legal into. Yeah. We'll tie the legal aspect into this. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. Now, Governor Landry has been criticized a lot. But
getting involved in it.
Yeah, I think probably if he was a little more behind the scenes, but I think his input was good in the sense that you wasting a lot of money. You're just wasting a lot of money, and it's not state money because it's paid by the LSU athletic department, so it's not state money. And the only way the state would pay it is if the LSU athletic department defaulted, which
Right.
is not going to happen. But he does have a point as far as $54 million in the buyout is lost money, lost opportunity.
Sure.
Because, which at least if they're going to pay 30, 35, 40, 45 that million, they're going to pay somewhere in between there, probably between 35 and 45 million. And that's 35, 45 million money that just goes to an individual who is not coaching rather than to the program to enhance it in some form or fashion. And so that's an opportunity cost, an opportunity lost by not having that money thrown away. And I think he has a valid point in saying, hey, let's not be so frivolous with this money and just think this out. And I think when you look back on it in hindsight, there were some red flags from people internally. They had an assistant coach from Notre Dame who had told me, who coached with him, he said he's not going to work in Louisiana. He just doesn't understand. It's just from a different culture. He doesn't understand what it would take. Now, if he's winning and he's not, nobody really cares. He could be he could be however he is, and they'll put up with him.
Right.
It's just that your rope's a lot shorter when you're when you're not winning and you don't get the benefit of the doubt, which he obviously didn't. But I don't think he understood the players. And to a certain extent, I think he wanted to win, but it was a money grab for him. I mean, his heart wasn't with LSU. There's coaches like Frank, the guy Frank Wilson. There's some other coaches. Ed Ogeron was like that. That's the pinnacle of their career. And they would crawl over glass to become the LSU coach. And they appreciate, the importance of the position to the state of Louisiana, to university, to every aspect of Louisiana. In fact, when you replace someone in government, you don't get a front page news, series of newspaper or articles and internet. But when you replace an LSU, it's a national story, and it's because it does have a profound effect on the state of Louisiana in so many different ways, from a morale standpoint, from an economic standpoint, from university standpoint, for attracting or keeping our students here rather than going to other universities outside of Louisiana. And so I think you have to have someone who would recognize the importance of that. And even Coach Saban, when he came down from the Midwest, he understood that the importance of football at LSU, importance of having relationships with high schools in the area. He understood all that and was able to adapt to that. That's why he was so successful. And Coach Kelly ultimately didn't adapt.
Right.
And hence, he's out of a job, figuring out whether he's going to collect $54 million, $50 million, $45 million, or $40 million. But after the break, we're going to integrate sports with legal talk about what is his legal maneuvering? What is he actually doing by filing suit? And what is he trying to accomplish from a negotiation standpoint? And this is often done. We've done this in hurricane claims with trying to have the court define a insurance policy and whether, what provisions apply to an insurance policy and what doesn't. So let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
I don't like not knowing what our time is. You know what I mean?
What's that?
I don't like not knowing. Like, we used to have a countdown as to when.
I know, we're learning. What does? So let's go to a break.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah. Which one?
Just don't understand.
The IRS is more aggressive than
Oh,
ever.
wow.
And your tax problems will
About
not
what?
go around.
Right.
They're holding your life hostage,
You're the one who
wrecking your
does this show.
credit, your
You're the
peace
one
of
who does
mind, and your
everything.
future.
And it's
Hi, I'm
underwritten
Danielle
by
with Go Tax
Nico
Resolution.
and sees
We
me.
specialize in
Like
resolving
with
delinquent tax issues and
I know he got to what's her name before me. And
Don't wait another day. Don't bury your head in the sand. Regain
just a
your life.
little.
Call us at 985-722-1040
That's enough to make me want to say, oh,
or
I
visit
got
us
every
at gotaxresolution.com.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that, but I wouldn't.
I can't stand it.
I don't know, but you don't want to do it because of that. That's gonna have. I mean, I love for you to do it, but
I just, he just,
trying to
he's such a child.
yeah, trying to share this. That's what I'm trying to do.
With me?
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it on the internet. Oops, sorry.
Educating students since 1921.
That's
Delaware
video.
Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts. Our career-focused degrees and certificates are affordable, flexible, and transferable. Whether you're starting your post-high school education or
It shows, you see, the notification shows it's live. It shows I'm live.
closer to being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
I'm on. See, it's got live. Live. Here we go.
Sunseri Brewhouse, savor the classic Creole dish. A great selection of beers on tap.
See, it's got live.
Balcony view. Perfect.
Live. It's not letting me see. Yeah.
Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m.
What's
Brought
this?
to you by Benji's Nursery. Trusted since 1926 for all your water and vegetable needs.
Let's see. Let's sometimes it lets me share, sometimes it doesn't. Which, oh, okay. I'll answer that.
More 100% online. Office visits.
Can I quote you, Andrew? All right. That's how they know people are driving drunk, because they know they drive down the ones with big potholes, locals. Because when they're not drunk, they know not to drive down those roads, those streets. This is. Hey, we're back. The former Beach Boy, Glenn Campbell.
Oh, that's right.
Huh? How do you like that? Well, here's the deal. Since I get you out of bed early, because I could just roll out of bed and come in here, and well, I mean, we're on a video stream too, so you have to.
More on a video stream, I could roll out of bed.
You could roll out of bed, but as part of the inducement, I said we'll do the bumper music for country music. In fact, we're going to go see what that Zach Brown in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's fair.
Right, but they play Glenn Campbell. You like Glenn Campbell? You see, you rolled your eyes during Glenn Campbell. I love Glenn Campbell.
I know you do.
He was a Beach Boy originally. He was a session drum
I think I liked him when
player.
I was super little, because that's when I think he was out.
He had the Glenn Campbell show.
Yeah.
But
I used to watch it.
This used to be a variety show,
Sure.
like with Sonny and Cher, and they had all those variety shows back then.
I guess that. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good country. But so we play country music for you.
Oh, thank you.
But then, man, I got a surprise.
It always goes back to the Beach Boys and football.
Well, his first concert was in New Orleans because Brian Wilson thought he had a little mental breakdown, so they needed a quick replacement. And he was a session guitarist with the Wrecking Crew back at Capitol Records. And so he came in there, played his first concert, I think, in City Park Stadium with the Beach Boys.
You
And
have just a lot of information.
A lot of useless knowledge. But then he became Glenn Campbell.
But Glenn
Campbell we know. He quit the Beach Boys and he was replaced by Bruce Johnson. So, all right, let's go to the phone lines. Okay. We're gonna go from the Beach Boys and Glenn Campbell to Texter talking about New Orleans potholes. So here we go. In fact, Andrew, our board op, had said that we're like a third world country when it comes to our roads.
He said he's been to third world countries that have better roads
than us. There you go. So let's go. Hey, Texter, what you have? Let's see. No, that's Texter. Who? Oscar? Okay. Hey, Oscar, what you got? Hey, brother, what you have for us, Oscar? Nothing much. Oscar Torres. Oh yes, I do, absolutely, man. From Lakes. Good. I remember.
I got a crazy question for you, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is someone going to start a class action lawsuit against the city for these potholes that people are hitting left and right and blowing out tires and rims and frames and all kinds of things like that?
They could. There's one reason it doesn't happen, and do you want to know why? Because you'd never collect.
I guess I do.
You'd never collect. There's a whole load of judgments against the city of New Orleans that span back 30 and 40 years, that they have like a sale every once in a while and says, we'll pay off this judgment at 5%.
Right.
If not, you can just have your grandchildren try to collect it. So in fact, when we have cases against the city of New Orleans, I don't take them because I know I'm like, you're never going to collect, and under most circumstances. And so, but it's funny. I know, Oscar, you're an LSU fan. I mean, Saints fan. What was the first thing that Tyler Shuck said when he got to New Orleans? You talk about the roads. He blew his car out in the pothole. And
I could tell you some stories. Honestly, and a good friend of mine who was talking to the other day, he runs one of the dealerships. He says, an average price of any car is $53,000.
Yeah. Well, the insurance company. Well, actually, here's how we pay for it: is if we get insurance in New Orleans, our rates go up because when you do have hit a pothole and it takes out your engine suspension, the insurance company is responsible for it. And then typically, insurance companies could subrogate against the cause of a lot of accidents, like a third party or some type of defect in the road, but they don't do that against New Orleans or Orleans Parish because you'll never collect. And look, we have cases against New Orleans. We have one right now. I'm trying to get someone from the city attorney to answer it because there's no. I'm gonna have to file a motion, spend a lot of my client's money to get them to just answer the lawsuit and address the issue we're trying to address. So it's a different deal in Orleans Parish, and hopefully we got a new mayor, and maybe we could maybe start changing the direction a little bit. But that's among the challenges that they have. And the other thing too, as you know, Oscar, we live on an offshore, but when it rains, if you don't know New Orleans, you don't know which streets to go down and which ones you don't, because the locals know not to go down this street because the potholes are 8 inches. And so, but when it's rained, people have no idea. So, are you still in New? So, are you still playing the drums? That's what I have to ask you.
You know what? Believe it or not, I played. I got to play 47 years, man. Thankful, but I got neuropathy in my hands and feet now from diabetes too. So it's slowed down the last 2 years.
Gotcha. Well, that's it. Well, man, it's great. It's great. Great hearing from you, OT. So I sure will. Al's out on assignment. I'm sure somewhere where there's consumption of alcohol is part of it. Yes. We used to do the show in the stadium. I'd pick them up on the way. And some days it seemed like he was just getting in when I'd pick him up at 7:30, and we just shoot on to the stadium. I mean, to the studio. So, but he's slowing down a little. But good to hear from you. Oh, thanks, OT. Okay. Woody did bring a good point. I mean, one of the things, there's a lot of unintended consequences of, New Orleans could be the greatest city in the United States.
Mhm.
And if you just did a few things, like a little safety, plug some potholes, and maybe improve the school system a little bit, I think people would put up with the rest, all the other things.
Yeah, probably.
And they say, well, it's just part. But it's one of the unintended consequences is people say, well, why is insurance rates so high in Orleans Parish? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but one of the reasons is because when you are going down Henry Clay or some of these streets up, and then you hit a pothole and your suspension goes out and you have a $3,000, $4,000 loss. The insurance
raises everybody's rates.
Right, absolutely.
And plus, people were driving around with no insurance.
Right, that's the other aspect. Because Albert gives a lecture. He gives his spiel about every 6 months on why you need uninsured motorist coverage. But that's the insurance companies actually pay, and a lot of people give insurance companies a hard time, and a lot of times they deserve it. I mean, 100% deserve it. But a lot of times, like for high rates in New Orleans, you just changing the tort laws or whatever may do a little bit, but that's the symptom. The problem is, potholes. I mean, that must cost insurance companies millions of dollars just for people hitting them, and also, probably may even cause a couple of wrecks.
Oh, sure.
So that's part of the unintended consequences of that. And also, too, there's, as far as, we'll just talk briefly, Orleans Parish has a backlog of judgments against it.
Oh, listen, I remember practicing with my dad 20-something years ago, and every time they got a judgment against Orleans Parish, it was just like, oh, we just join the ranks. And I'm sure some of those are still sitting.
Right. Yeah.
They had a list of which ones they had to go reinscribe every 10. I mean, it was
10 years.
Every 10 years, and you had to.
And a lot of these judgments are, they'll have like I call it like a sale, and they'll say, we'll pay 10%, 5% with no legal interest. And a lot of people take it because they're saying we're never going to see any of this in our lifetime.
Right.
So hopefully they get their fiscal
House in order.
House in order. And I mean, they have a lot of things. I think the new mayor has a lot of things to bite.
Yeah.
But
it's probably incredibly overwhelming if you really list it out.
I would start, if you do really, safety and economic development would be the two things you would start. Safety, economic development, and some infrastructure.
Yeah. Because it was interesting yesterday. I don't know what news we were watching, but it was about the top 5 places to go on a bachelor trip or whatever.
Yeah.
New Orleans was number 2.
Right.
So I mean, it's our tourism is huge.
Our culture, yeah, absolutely. And what drives me crazy about mayors is especially when you watch national news, they talk Democrat, Republican. Being a mayor is about potholes. It's about crime. It's about economic development. It's about infrastructure. That's not a Democrat, Republican. No. It's beyond that. And to me, when they start talking about that in those terms, it drives me crazy, because maybe their interest isn't being mayor, but it's interested in being something else. But it's totally not a partisan issue. I mean, there's no Republican or Democratic way to address a pothole. It's just not.
No.
And so hopefully we sort of get that revelation. You don't have all this tribalism. You're not going to have people fighting over, one tribe, against the pothole and one for it just because one's against it, one's for it. So, but we'll see. But good luck. You know, when you have a change like this, you always have a bit of optimism.
Sure.
So we hope it plays out. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We will be back right after this brief timeout.
All things legal on WWL, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios. The bank is Jersey.
Which one is? Where's that from?
That was called I Don't Mind by Sergio Simpson.
Yeah, Sergio Simpson. You like the country? What's your country? You like a country rock?
It's okay. Listen, I'm good. Okay. I'm up. I didn't get up because you play country music. I get up because I get this next to
Let me get back to let me see if I can get this thing started again. Something, it just doesn't show up sometimes. Let me see with this one.
Did it say subscribe to? Did it say subscribe to something?
Who does?
I thought I saw something on your screen that said subscribe to something. How much time do I have?
Yeah, you can take whatever time you want.
I just want to go heat up my car.
Yeah, go ahead. I can cover it. Yeah. Let's see if I got you.
Like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewals.
Worked all your life and built an estate to leave to your loved ones. And now it's time to prepare an estate plan, so where do you turn? The last thing you should use go to some online will and trust service for a cookie cutter document. You need to meet with an experienced Louisiana estate planning attorney to share your intentions, ask questions, and obtain advice. This is Albert Nico of the Nico and Simpson Law Firm in Metairie. I've been providing clients with estate planning advice and preparing wills and trusts for over 35 years. When you're ready to plan your estate, call me at 504-837-1304.
Thanks to you, our customers, we have Clarkson Builders and got some great news.
Every name is one of this year's 45 new top 50 builders in the country.
This honor is based off a list of criteria that involves our staff, industry, and community involvement.
Are you still up?
Yeah, we got a lot of commercials.
About this honor and to see our expensive
I wonder why it's not on the side.
go to the
I got a lot of commercials.
This holiday season,
I wonder why it's not on the side.
unforgettable at Caucus Steakhouse. Whether it's a quick dinner for 10 or a great
I got a lot of commercials. I wonder why it's not on the side. Great experience, sometimes it lets me share, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I do.
Cars worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they
Yeah,
are
we're more money.
so
Yeah.
easy to remember. If I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carmana deal, I'll pay $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
my son, my dad passed away at the age of 63 out of nowhere. Stroke. Hard.
Let me try this.
This is why I have life insurance. For my wife,
best place to get life insurance is ethos.com. Listen to it. There's no medical exam, no blood tests. We help question. Get life insurance in 10 minutes with family protect. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/life.
At Arian Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy exclusive savings.
Does it save?
Quality rechargeable hearing
See, it's letting us save.
comfortable and ready to use right out of the box.
It's not letting us save.
Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce.
Sometimes it lets you save, sometimes it doesn't.
Join over 1 million happy customers and shop
Share.
deals before they're gone at iHeartRadio.com.
Let's try it again.
Hearing.com. It's all things new at WWL and streaming live on the Audacy, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Sunseri or Albert Rico, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakwood Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We have a text from Brent. Says, does the state of Louisiana pay their legal judgments won against them in a timely manner? If so, why doesn't New Orleans do this?
Because New Orleans has no money.
Right. Now, sometimes in Louisiana, if the Attorney General or whoever you're getting a judgment against the state of Louisiana doesn't pay or elects not to pay, sometimes you have to get an appropriation from a state legislator. So that's another aspect of it. But the state of Louisiana generally pays judgments timely. But yeah, you're right. You had you're right. So he said, Oscar, our last caller, he's from Bucktown.
Oh.
And he was
a Lakeshore kid.
Lakeshore kid. Went to Jesuit. He was in the year older, but OT Oscar. So he was a drummer, football player.
Sounds like it was an all-around Renaissance.
Oh, he was the definite Renaissance guy. But say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right about the.
So what do you think about the other text?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this. Do you think Brian Kelly will get the $45 million buyout? $54 million. Thank you. You wouldn't have a role if you wasn't here to keep correct me in my English and in my reading. But no, he won't get $54 million. He has a mitigation clause. He also has a what LSU's trying to do, and this was the lawyers trying to figure out how to get out of a bad contract. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good contract if he wins national championship and he stays 10 years. It is probably the worst contract if he sort of bombs out like he did after 4 years. And one of the strategies that the Kelly camp is trying to employ is they filed a declaratory judgment.
I think it's wise. I think it's a smart legal move.
It is, because it puts LSU behind the 8 ball.
Right.
And what he's trying to get, do you want to explain what a declaratory judgment is?
Well, declaratory judgment is you're asking the court to declare something to be kind of the law of that case. So I guess they're asking them to look at one of the clauses of
the buyout clause.
Right, but was it for cause?
Right, it's to take a look at it to see whether he was terminated for cause or not, because LSU had to, under the contract, LSU would have to give him a notice, a contemporaneous notice stating that he is in breach of the contract for cause.
Do they have to, as in a lot of contracts, give him a chance to rectify?
Yep, give a response to it. And so LSU didn't do that cause. And some of the things that they're complaining of are asserting happened in 2023.
Yeah, you were trying to tell me something about his marriage.
Well, yeah, I don't want to put it in the air, but maybe some personal conduct that they're trying to assert. That also with Greg Brooks, who was the player who had the brain tumor, which, I mean, full disclosure, we're working with Greg on some things, and he's a great kid. And so what the Kelly people are saying is, if I breach the contract and it could be used for cause, you have to contemporaneously inform me, give me a notice, and I get to respond and give a response before a decision's made. And
Did he have did the contract allow him to have a period of time if it was for cause that he could rectify?
yes. And so that's the problem. When in the coach's contract, it's the definition of cause. Now, when I was out of school, I was working for Bill Becknell, and he was representing Tim Floyd, he was coaching at UNO at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we had found, it was before electronic research, so I was the researcher.
You were in the books.
I was in the books, but I was carrying Bill's briefcase and getting him lunch and coffee or whatever. But one of the things that we saw was when they had the cause language for coaches, it would say any violation of university policy.
That's wide.
Right, and that was the point. And basically, what if you're a coach and you start losing, you could have the university digging through your long distance records and see if you made a personal call on university time, or you parked in a handicapped parking spot on the university, which is against university policy, and say it was so that's a violation of contract. We terminate you for cause, which has saved a lot of money. And I think what Bill did was he defined cause as being convicted of a felony and having your program shut down, because Coach Floyd had a lot of leverage at the time. But you have to narrow that, determination or definition of cause very narrow. And it's the clause that they're saying is basically a morals clause, which probably will need more definition, and also some general language that you have to represent LSU in I'm going to say more. You have to represent LSU in a certain way that's not embarrassing.
Vague.
Yeah, well, and so I think what happened was when they got into the governor's mansion and they're talking about we got to get rid of them, you lawyers should come up with something to get them out with that cause.
And say, well, release them and you put them on notice.
Well, that's what happens when you get politics mixed into decision making. I think if you were probably a little more, they was afraid that the program would continue to suffer irreparably if they didn't do something now. But by doing something now, you foreclose on some of the legal options you may have by not complying with the procedures for termination with cause. And the bottom line is this: he doesn't have it. Now, I think where the LSU ought to go is he's got a duty to mitigate. And so if he sits at home and doesn't seek a job, I would start getting like vocational people out there saying he can get a job right now for $2 million at CBS, and he's choosing not to.
Well, yeah, and I was curious as to whether the contract gave him a period of time. Like you have to.
It's a general. We had a contract with another coach just in the last 3 years, a duty to mitigate, and that's what we negotiated out. It was a basketball coach,
yeah.
And so but if I was LSU, my measure was, look, let's work on the duty to mitigate provision. Because if he's got the ability to make $4 or $5 million a year and he's sitting at home, then you're going to make the argument that the duty to mitigate includes you taking affirmative action, not voluntary action.
Right.
And that I would get an economist to say your market value right now as a football coach or as a commentator on CBS or ESPN is $4 million. And you got to go out there and get it. If you don't, we're not going to pay you. And that would be my strategy, because I think the cause issue's lost. And then what you need to do is you need some type of enforcement mechanism or something where he'll lose something. And we'll go to break. We'll go to a quick break, and I'll tell you the other thing they'll have to lose, which is not legal, as to why they may settle. So let's go to break. Dick Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Breaking news about the Saints, Pelicans, and LSU on WWL.
Are the Saints playing?
Huh?
Are the Saints playing?
What's that?
Saints playing today?
No, they're all.
Download the BetMGM app or visit BetMGM.com today. WWL is proudly sponsored by Juggling Devotion, official entry lawyers of the New Orleans Saints. Call 444-4444.
That's 444.
But that. Okay.
Well, you can stretch your way to winning.
Gosh, they have a lot of commercials on football season. That is for Instagram.
Oh, it looked like something was like.
No, I hadn't. I have to change the settings for Instagram but this is YouTube, Facebook.
It looked like it was like one of those emergency something's not working.
If I, let's see.
Do you want me to go get my phone?
No. See, sometimes they used to let us let's see if this edit post translation. No. Sometimes it gives you a place down here to save. Sometimes it doesn't. They always changing it. I think they want you to more post on your business page if it's business.
Are you on the business page?
Yeah, I have. But the business page doesn't let you share. Like if I go on the business page here.
How come it doesn't let you share?
This is not one. Yeah, I see it go.
Along with a new and unwrapped gift. In a season for giving, make a child's Christmas special. For more information on the
see, it lets you share, but you can't share with friends. Let's see, public.
Can you pull down where it says public? Pull down here?
Yeah. Watch, it does.
Oh, it's no pull down. I was thinking it was.
I can share it again. But
Hi, this is Thomas Fonte. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited. 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Turn old jewelry into extra money for the holidays at Southern Coins and Precious Metals. Game Day Men's Health, regain energy, confidence, and vitality.
so I know we got 48 views on.
Business service free, plus a price lock.
Let's see.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm the widow. I'm I never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance to be unexpected loss of people. So tax and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage.
Yeah, 67 views. Not bad. It's just really just for the algorithms that you just keep pushing this. Even if people aren't watching, it picks it all up.
People picking up like me only use 12 days or less. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plan starts at $20, and we use the same powers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better. Because if you're not using all that data, back to attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and Talk Shitty podcasts on Audacy, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Hardshivers Talking text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Okay, I'm going to tell you why this LSU Brian Kelly is going to settle between $35 and $45 million. Because both parties don't want the underbelly of either their personal life or college football to become public record. There's certain things that will be somewhat uncomfortable for both parties if you go through the litigation process and the declaratory judgment that will probably be damaging to LSU and also be damaging to Brian Kelly.
Well, that's usually in most lawsuits.
Right. Well, this is more so because you have a brand such as
Sure.
LSU,
And you have,
which
you have his brand.
and his brand. So those brands want to have they want to have some type of protection for their self interest, and they're both willing to give something up to protect that.
Sure.
Because actually, Brian Kelly's he's 64. Does he? Would more? I mean, his reputation's probably got a value.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. A lot of lawsuits involving high profile people are settled because maybe some ancillary issues that aren't directly related would be highly embarrassing. And they said it's better just to have that buried and the general public not be privy to it.
Right.
So that is why it's going to be between 35 and I would guess between 35 and 40 million is the number. That's a big number. That's a big number. And if they would, hopefully LSU's going to go one or two different ways. They're either going to do this again with Lane Kiffin, or are they going to get somebody more reasonable?
You think he's going to leave?
I don't think he is. I think the best candidate is John Summerall, right down the road from LSU for 80 miles. I think he's the guy. He's the guy he's tough, like real tough, but yet he communicates with those players. He understands the players, but he understands how to be tough with them. So that would be my vote, which is worth, what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But we're going to talk about special needs trust and estate planning. Hey, Andrew.
Wait, you need some.
Give me a 40. Just give me like a 30-second 30-second timeout. Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Or you could put it on the chat because I missed it. No, I know. All right, got 10 minutes.
10 minutes? No. I'm going to heat my coffee up.
The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words that can radicalize people against me.
In North Carolina, fear among the city's legal immigrants as a federal immigration enforcement suit continues.
Border Patrol being here is really going to affect how we live on a day-to-day basis. We're going to be living in fear, constant fear that one day one of us might not come home.
Homeland Security officers targeting violent felonies who are in the Democrat-run city. Is President Trump ready to extend military action against the drug traffickers he says are operating on He's saying that 60 Minutes interview with
This issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that
I
true?
don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue.
reports that a convoy of warships led by the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, has now entered the Caribbean. This is what new President Trump has said, and it would be threat to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion over sanctions, edited in a way that kind of seems to exclusively incite violence on January 6th. This lawyer Mark Stevens says,
Even if a jury in America found a verdict in favor of the president of $1 billion, it would never be enforced in this country.
apologize, but $100,000
1/3 of six-figure earners in a new Harris poll say they are financially distressed. 2/3 say their six-figure pay is not a sign of wealth. Many of them say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Some have sold personal items, cut back on medical care, and even skipped meals to make it. More than half of them say they would have to double their income to feel financially secure. A $100,000 salary these days puts you firmly in the middle class. Michael Wallace, CBS.
This is CBS.
Get O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We all hear the radio anthem of the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-497-0593. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-497-0593. That's 800-497-0593. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. WWL First News. Happy Sunday. I'm Coach P on your official weather station, WWL.
Happy Sunday. It's going to be really nice today. We'll see warm weather, plenty of sunshine. It will feel a bit humid and kind of spring-like today. Temperatures will climb to around 80 degrees this afternoon. Tonight, expect mainly clear skies. It'll be cool but kind of damp this evening. Temperatures will fall to the 50s by tomorrow morning. Watch for some areas of fog around tomorrow morning for the commute.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trishler has a full event forecast coming up. The election results are in. New Orleans now knows who will lead the city in its future. 2 District 2 runoffs were decided. Over in District A, Amy McCarran defeated Holly Friedman, and in District E, Jason Hughes took the top seat over former council member Cindy Wynn. In the hotly contested criminal clerk of court race, Calvin Duncan defeated incumbent Darian Lombard. 3 ballot measures for affordable housing, infrastructure, and drainage were all passed. This morning, NOPD was called to the scene of a fatal traffic accident over on the I-10 westbound near the intersection of 510. A 40-year-old female pedestrian was found struck by a eastbound SUV. The driver of the SUV remained on the scene. All lanes on I-10 were closed for several hours for accident cleanup and incident investigation. The beautiful weather this weekend may have you eager to get out and enjoy the day. There's lots to do. The Oak Street Boy Fest continues today with tasty favorites and some new takes on the sandwich. The Kenner Food Truck Fest will have plenty of delectable food choices and live music. And if you need some dessert, head over to City Park for Video Fest.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. Following a 2-10 start to their 2025 campaign, the Pelicans announced yesterday morning that they moved on from head coach Willie Green. In 5 seasons in New Orleans, Green finished with a 150 and 190 overall record. Pelicans lead executive Demarest said in a statement, quote, "I have the utmost respect for Willie Green, and I'm sincerely appreciative of his contributions to the Pelicans organization and New Orleans community," end quote. Demarest explained what to look for in the Pelicans' next head coach.
Establishing exactly who you want to be.
All right, 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
And this litmus test for the next project, like, can we build an identity here? That's really what I'm going to be looking for. There is a coach that's really going to build an identity here, and obviously you want someone smart, you want someone who can communicate, you want all of it. But more than anything else, we have to build an identity here as well.
New Orleans promoted associate head coach James Borrego to be the team's interim head coach. The Pelicans are back in action tonight when they welcome the 8-6 Golden State Warriors to the Scotiabank Center. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 870 WWL. Hop into college football. The Golden Boot Trophy is staying in Baton Rouge.
They go grab the Golden Boot and they lift it high. 100 pounds, the 24-karat gold, and they are rising it to the fans to celebrate. The Golden Boot is staying in Baton Rouge indeed. And of course, the state year. LSU gets the win. 23-22 over the Arkansas Razorbacks.
First play on the LSU Sports Radio Network. LSU defense times didn't break. After quarterback Michael Van Buren, the Miami Table offense mounted a pair of massive fourth-quarter drives to lead LSU to a hard-fought 23-22 victory over Arkansas. LSU improved to 64 overall, becoming bowl eligible in the process, and they'll be back in competition next year for their final home game of the season against Western Kentucky from Long WWL Sports.
Now,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Expect a beautiful Sunday with plenty of sunshine. It will be warm and a bit humid, feeling like springtime. Temperatures will be around 8 degrees this afternoon. For the new work week, it does stay warm every day and a bit humid with plenty of sunshine.
Temperatures will be in the low 80s every afternoon, and we'll have to watch for the morning fog every afternoon during the work week coming up, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time for the morning commute. Later in the week, we may see the return of a few showers and storms by Friday and Saturday. From WWL, Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Frischler.
I'm Courtney B. WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South. It's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Audacy app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Albert's out on assignment. And, you know, I used to have to, sit across from Albert for, 17 years in the studio. I have to say, you're so much more pleasing to the eyes than Albert on Sunday mornings. I'm just
I probably smell better too.
But we're going to talk a little bit about estate planning if you got a special needs child or adult child or child under 18. But 2 things I want to talk about just very briefly. Saints, we're off this week. It's the first time in about 3 years there's a little bit of glimmer of hope because there's the possibility that we may have a quarterback. The possibility.
Okay.
So Shuck looks, I from the inside, between Rattler and Shuck, I've been told that Shuck's got the right mindset.
Well, that's good.
I mean, Rattler's probably a career backup. But they said he's a little different. And so we had a very, very small sample size. He's already won as many games as Rattler. And he didn't need 5 turnovers to win that game because the one that Rattler won, it was Giants had 5 turnovers. So maybe we caught a break. After 4 or 5 years of cap mismanagement, draft mismanagement, roster mismanagement. Maybe we found glimmer of hope. Also, Willie Green, who's one of our neighbors, actually, is no longer a. And there's one. I'll give you one name as to why he's fired.
Wow.
Zion, Coach Killer. Now, I don't like to see. If you roll back the tape 3 years ago, trade him, get rid of him, Coach Killer. And he's missed the last 6 games.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there. So he's a good coach. It's too bad that he had to.
Yeah, because what I was hearing, they were talking about it on the radio before we went on, I think, was that there was no, he didn't have a vision. Like there was no vision what the team would look like. It didn't have an identity.
Because the anchor of the team never, didn't show up to play. I mean, it's just no Zion. I mean, you have to attach yourself when you're paying someone $250 million to play, and he didn't show up, and he hasn't showed up. You can't make it in tub, a nice tub. So he's gonna land elsewhere. He's a good coach. He just had the wrong superstar that he attached himself to. All right.
Well, I don't think it was his choice.
No, it's not. That's why it's unfortunate. He was a victim of that circumstance. They should have moved Zion 3 years ago. He doesn't have the life habits to be a successful NBA player. I'll leave it at that. Or a superstar. He could eke out 10 years and just be like Ben Simmons and just sort of play and then be a footnote in history. All right.
With a huge salary.
That's, you blown 5 times as much on him as you did on Brian Kelly. Okay, let's switch gears.
Okay.
We were talking, we have pillow talk.
We weren't on the pillow, but we were in the kitchen.
This was kitchen talk?
This was kitchen talk.
And you are saying that there's not a lot of resources for parents who have children with special needs, disabilities on how to deal with this in a lot of different contexts. And if I tell you my theory as to why there's so many kids who are autistic, they'll probably throw me off the radio.
They would, but let's just talk about.
So we're not going to talk about that. But the ones who know what I'm talking about without me saying it, we're speaking in code. But
yeah, but that has nothing to do.
That
with
has,
this
but
one.
I'm just saying that has nothing to do with. But there's a lot of, it's 1 out of every 30 some odd kids now are somewhere in the autistic spectrum.
You know what I was thinking? Because you and I were talking about years ago. You more than me, but we did it a couple of times together. Would give seminars or talks to families helping families to kind of explain, like the legal not the legal requirements, but the things that you can do to plan. And then I don't know. I'm assuming that organization is still out there.
Yeah, they are.
Participated in it. But I don't know. We were talking about how you get notice out. I don't know why when a child is diagnosed, there's always a diagnosis. I don't care if you're 4 years old or 24. Why, when that report goes out, there isn't some kind of handout that goes, especially if they're minors. Your child has just been diagnosed with blah, blah, blah. Here's some things you might want
Some resources. There's very little.
I know, but I don't understand why.
Well, yes. We're going to do it right now. We're going to start. Okay, you were saying, let's talk about this. You were talking about a lot of parents who have children that have special needs, autistic, under 18, and what happens to them when they become 18, and what are the problems?
Well, they become majors, and under the law, and unless you've done something to either a continuing tutorship, well, you're not going to interdict anybody under the age of 18. When they turn 18, it's just kind of like when Mia turned 18. She was in high school. Yeah. I brought her to the orthopedist. She got an injury from volleyball. He looks at me and he says, "I can't. She's a major." I'm thinking, she just learned to drive. She's not even paying her own bills. You can't talk to me? And they're like, "No, I'm sorry. She's 18. She has to give you written permission." Well, of course, she turned around.
She did. If she wanted to eat.
Well, yeah.
If she wanted that place to sleep,
she had to ride home.
Yeah, she wanted to ride home. She had to give it to us.
So, but yeah,
but the problem is, if you don't have the capacity to give permission at 18, and you're an adult, how do you deal with that?
You have to interdict.
Right.
Which is an expensive process.
Okay, so we have a problem. Okay, we have parents who have children who are about to make 18, and when they become 18, you have no legal authority over them anymore, right? Correct. So, what is the solution?
The solution is to do a continuing tutorship.
Okay.
Which is a very simple process.
Okay.
And what you do is you file a petition with the court, and you're essentially telling the court, "Hey, I've got this child, and this child has a diagnosis of whatever, and they're never going to be able to take care, or at this particular point, we don't believe he or she will be able to take care of his person, or their property, and we're asking for them to kind of remain a minor, where I have authority, where the parent has authority."
Mm-hmm.
So you're essentially doing the same thing that you would do with an interdiction, and an interdiction is to get rid of somebody's legal capacity to make decisions over their own person or their property. You're doing that for a minor, and it's called the continuing tutorship. You get letters of tutorship, and therefore it's almost like they liken it to a power of attorney.
Yeah. So you continue to have legal authority over the child with a special need or autistic, Down syndrome or what have you.
Yeah, there's a multitude of reasons why.
And if you do that, a continuing tutorship, if you don't do a continuing tutorship before they're 18, what is the way
you have to file a petition to interdict, which is much more expensive, and it's a longer process.
It's probably 4 or 5 times more expensive, at least. Yes. Yeah, we have, because now here's one of the situations we've had, is that they had a young man who had various issues and cognitive issues. And the parents went to the same doctors for like 10 years. Everything was fine. They was just sort of right and get his government benefits. And all of a sudden they got a new caseworker and they got a new doctor. The new doctor says, "I can't talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
And the caseworker says he has to file his own claim for government services, and that's when they came to us, and we had to do an interdiction.
Sure.
And I mean, this is not typical, but I'll tell you some of the complications that
This is
happened.
the one that you got a curator who was all gung ho that he should be able to marry and make his own decisions.
Yeah, I think what was it, Taylor Swift or whatever. One of those is what happened was he was a nice kid, but he obviously he could articulate, but he probably had the mind of a 8 or 9 year old. And we had a Tulane law student who was probably from up north, very idealistic, and probably not very pragmatic. I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
I think you're doing a good
Yeah,
job.
I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a really good job.
And she was appointed as the curator, because when you have an interdiction, you have to pay for the interdiction, but you have to pay for an attorney for the person who's being interdicted.
Right.
And she was obviously naive and very, how can I say, maybe uber empathetic to the extent it's clouds her judgment. So she had to meet with the young man who was like 30 with the mind of 9, and he liked Taylor Swift or something and wanted to marry her. And so she came in and recommended against the interdiction because he was in love with Taylor Swift or whatever. And he wanted, and
yeah, I think it was that she didn't want to take away his right to get married one day.
And so I tried not to blow a gasket, but the judge had to have a little conversation with us. Say, while your intentions are noble, your judgment is horrible. But my point is, it's a clunky process.
Yeah.
Whereas basically for the continuing tutorship, all you do is you file a petition, you get all the information together, you file it to court. Most of the time, the judges sign off on it.
Yeah, I've never had to go to a hearing on one.
Yeah. But this is very, very important because it catches a lot of parents off guard when their child becomes 18.
Oh, I know.
And it becomes a problem. I mean, a lot of times you need benefits now or at medical access now, but the interdiction might take 3 or 4 or 5 months.
Right.
And it poses a real problem.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But you want to, but you're right. A lot of parents have no idea and they're really caught off guard.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if we have to go to break, but then the people that I met with had gotten some really bad information from a source that they thought was giving them good information about estate planning. And that was
we're going to talk about the second. Yeah, we're going to talk about the second part about the estate planning for a special needs child, because you can, if you don't, you want to have that child be able to receive government benefits, but an inheritance would preclude entitlement unless you do what is called a special needs child. So but we want to just emphasize, if you have a autistic child, which is statistically one out of every 30 something, which that's a whole nother discussion. You want to get a continuing tutorship before they're 18, because if you don't do it, it's going to cost you 5 times as much to do an interdiction later. And then
I think it's probably more than that, because you know what we charge for it is really nominal, and what you'd have to pay a curator just to be the attorney, that's not even filing, that's not even, you're probably talking about $2,500, $3,500.
Yeah.
Just for the
you can't get out for less than $6,000.
No.
Because you have to pay for the other attorney, you have to pay the court costs, you have to have a trial. And even for an interdiction, even if the curator agrees that there's an interdiction, you still have to have a trial.
Right. And then and sometimes you have to call your expert.
Right, and you have to have experts, and it's all kinds of money. So just remember, if you have a special needs child and they're under 18, about to make 18, you need to get a continuing tutorship in order to have legal authority over them after they reach 18, or it's going to be a mess if you don't.
Right.
All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Tickets to the game and access to the Sunseri
Well, so listen.
Huh?
So I got a receipt from last night, but I still don't have like. Here's your thing. Take it. This is how you. I guess I can. It says it here in the questions.
The IRS is more aggressive than ever, and your tax problems won't disappear on
Let's
their
see.
own. They're holding your life hostage, wrecking your credit, your peace of mind, and your future. Hi, I'm Danielle with Go Tax Resolution. We specialize in resolving delinquent tax issues and will help protect your bank account, your wages, and your assets. Don't wait another day. Don't bury your business hand. Regain your life. Call us at 985-722-1040 or visit us at gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
The IRS is ramping up collections, and that means more wage garnishment, bank levies, and aggressive action. Hi, I'm Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. You owe back taxes. The time to act is now. Don't face the IRS alone. At Go Tax Resolution, we know how to protect your assets and your peace of mind. Call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or visit gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog shop, Rough Creek. Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Creek here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is that food is probably the blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Creek. One daily food gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughbreeds.com. That's RUFFbreeds.com. Use discount code NEW. Don't wait. Give your dog the gifts of vibrant health. Order now. They'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughbreeds.com. That's RUFFbreeds.com. Discount code NEW. Free jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Creek. You make any dog food? Yes.
Feeling tired, stressed, not quite yourself? Could be low testosterone affecting your energy, mood, and even drive. Chronos Body Health and Wellness specializes in hormone replacement therapy with a personalized approach to boost energy, strength, and vitality. You'll experience improved mood, increased muscle mass, better focus, and performance. Let Dr. Scott work with you to create a custom plan for your needs, restoring balance so you feel strong and productive again. Don't wait. Visit chronosbhw.com or call to take the first step today. CHRONOSBHW.com.
Everything about a big truck crash is serious. At WWL, we give these cases the attention they deserve. As soon as you call us, our truck response team will jump into action, gathering evidence, talking to witnesses, getting police reports, reconstructing the accident, in order to build a powerful legal case for you. So if you've been injured, demand WWL. You're on the scene to truck crash.
You want to get a jingle?
What kind of jingle?
Sunseri Law Firm. Sunseri Law Firm, the family firm. Sunseri Law Firm, the family firm. Big Lou. Oh.
Should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
Stream WWL and the shows you love on Audacy, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talking Text Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Big Lou. If Big Lou doesn't advertise normally when you're on.
You always say that.
Because little people don't know. Should I disclose it? You actually, were the divorce attorney for Big Lou against Big Lou in his first marriage before he married Bambi. So when I walk into the caddy shack to pick up lunch, he sees me. He's just terrified. He said, I can see him talking to his friends. He said, "That's the one whose wife just cleaned me out." That's true. So, and he had a nice first wife, didn't she? She was there. She was there from the very beginning. You know, when he was just selling insurance policies door to door, and she supported him. And now he, becomes national, and all of a sudden he dumps her for Bambi, right?
That's
Right.
right.
And that what happened.
Exactly what happened.
But you, Mildred was his first wife, right? You made it right for Mildred, didn't you? So Big Lou, he's the one with the pinky ring.
I know.
And he's got the fake hair too. He's got the
The
rug. He's got the rug. He's got the rug on. So plus he's got the protruding belly also. And he's sort of loud. So you got the visual. All right, Lou. So we're going to talk about
estate
planning for special needs trust. And okay, we'll talk about the problem. If you have a special needs child, they're on government services and they inherit, what is the problem?
The problem is it'll knock them off their government benefits because you can't have assets over $2,500.
If you have more than $2,000 cash, you're done, right? And for example, we had this in real time. We had a child. She had cerebral palsy, needed 24/7 care, and she inherited $10,000 from a life insurance policy, very, very small one. And she was knocked off of all her benefits until two things.
They spent that down.
They spent the $10,000, and it took about 2 or 3 years to get back in line for those benefits. Right. So you have the problem is if you have a special needs child, they inherit from you. They lose their benefits until they can show what the money they received is spent. So what is the solution to that problem?
The solution is when you do your will to place anything that child gets subject to a special or supplemental needs trust that you build inside of your will. And that comes into fruition upon your death. Okay.
And what does the special needs trust accomplish?
What it does is it's actually a loophole in the federal regulations. I can give you the history of it, but anyway, it's a loophole that allows you or a person to keep assets without it affecting their benefits and their special requirements on what you can spend it on, what you can spend that money on.
Right.
And it's to supplement, hence the
right.
terms, supplemental needs.
Because basically when you get SSI and you get Medicaid, it's to provide for your primary needs. Correct. And the law says that if you get an income source to replace your primary needs, then you're not entitled to it anymore. But with supplemental needs trust or a special needs trust, what's commonly known as, is the trust doesn't replace your primary needs. It provides for all those other supplemental needs. So therefore, it's not a replacement. So therefore, you're able to maintain entitlement to government services and also receive the benefit of the inheritance. Right. And, so it doesn't matter, the former owner of the Saints had a special needs trust for his grandson. And doesn't matter, you can have as much money as you could own a football team and still have a special needs trust for a relative, and they can still receive their government benefits. Right. And so that's, and one of the things, this is anecdotal, but it's not scientific, but it's my observation. It seems like parents with special needs trusts live longer.
You mean with special needs children?
Yeah, special needs children. Right. They live longer because their mindset is, I can't leave this world because nobody's going to take care of my special needs child like I can or look after them. And I do, and one of their biggest concerns is how are they going to do when I'm not here? How are they going to be provided for? And, that's a motivating factor for them to say, look, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not checking out anytime soon. But that is like a real fear, is especially if they've been caring for them or, for the last 40, 50, 60 years, what's going to happen when we're gone? And at least the special needs trust will be able to mitigate it, because you can still have the benefit of an inheritance and also government services. Now, how is the money administered and by who?
The money's administered by the trustee, and that's the person that you name, as the administrator of the trust. They have discretion. Right. They can spend it on anything to supplement that beneficiary's life.
Right. In sports term, they like the quarterback for the trust.
Yeah.
And now, when you select a trustee, one of the things you have to realize is they call it a trustee for a reason, because you need to be able to, you need to trust them. So you never want to pick someone who's frivolous with money to be a trustee. Now, if for certain amounts, like Gulf Coast Bank, which they're sponsored WWL, they have a nice trust department.
They do. They have a really great trust department.
Right. So even if you appoint a family member to be the trustee, they can offload that to the Gulf Coast Bank, and they can keep all the paperwork and documents and the accounting for that. But if
I had a client who subsequently passed away, but he named Gulf Coast as the primary trustee, like right off the bat.
They got a great trust department, and they do a very good job.
Yeah.
And I think they would but you would want to have someone who is going to administer that properly, because every once in a while we do have litigation where someone's appointed as a trustee for a trust and they're not.
Trustworthy.
They're not.
But I want to say something else too.
Yes.
So the information that these people I met with, and it's I guess the internet has a lot of good features and it's got a lot of bad features. It gives people try to do their own research. These people were given information that the best way to provide for their special needs child in the future is to keep him out of the will. Just give everything to the quote unquote normal child, and then that normal child will take care of his or her brother. But in Louisiana, we have forced heirship. So you leave them out, the court has to then give that child its forced portion. And if you don't have a trust set up, you've just created a problem. What you thought you were avoiding, you've just created.
Well, I don't like doing that to begin with, because things happen in life where you think you could trust your children, but life circumstances happen, and then you got
or somebody else. It doesn't even have to. You could give that child's portion to your brother and say your brother would take care of the child. But the problem is, even if you could do that,
which you can't in Louisiana,
that asset then becomes, let's use the brother. Then the brother. What if the brother dies? Then it goes into his estate.
Right. So, and when they say that, that's like total red flags. Yeah. But now why don't you talk a little bit about what's a forced heir today?
So a forced heir today is any child who has not attained the age of 24, and or any child who is deemed disabled under the laws of Louisiana. And that definition is squishy.
Squishy and growing. Squishy and growing.
Yeah. So it's our courts have expanded the definition as to what disabled is.
So if you have a child who has got a disability, and that could be even like a
drug addiction.
A drug addiction, or
I've read some cases where child is bipolar.
Or some cognitive.
Well, it's not a cognitive.
Psychological
condition.
Yeah. And they would be entitled to a portion of the estate, maybe 1/4, or up to at least 1/4 of the estate.
Yeah, or up to half.
Oh, yeah.
If everyone wants so, yeah. And I think what's happening is, I don't think we'll ever go back to the way it was like when we were in law school learning.
Right.
Because they got rid of total forced airship while I was in law school.
Right.
Which meant, so before you had to leave to your child. Didn't matter if your child was 60 years old. You could not leave to your children unless you disowned them or disinherited them.
Yeah, for like cause, for like them trying to kill you or something like that.
Yeah. And then, so they did away with that totally.
Right.
There was no forced airship. And then as time went on, they added it back in. I guess they realized, hey, listen, we just threw the baby out with the bathwater. Now we've got kids who can't take care of themselves, who are disabled, and parents can just write them out. So it's come back. Now it seems like the jurisprudence is trying to expand it. Almost, we'll never go back to you have to leave to your kids. I hope we don't go back to that, but
not in our lifetime.
Yeah, not in our lifetime. The net has gotten wider
as to its incapacity.
What's disabled.
So if you have maybe a child that has had some issues regarding alcohol, drugs, you have to consider that in your planning, because they may be considered, or a good chance they would be forced heirs.
Right.
And if you have a child who has that problem and is struggling with that, you probably don't want to give them money outright. You probably want to put that in its own trust, whether it be a special needs trust or just a regular trust,
right.
where they don't get the money.
When I have clients that we talk about their kids and stuff, you might you have the opportunity to put in the event that I die with a forced heir, then their portion shall be subject to
a trust. And so the money just comes out slowly and over time, so that they don't get it all at once.
Right. And if it's a supplemental needs, it can only supplement.
Right. So, I think a lot of a lot of estate planners don't know about special needs trusts, like day-to-day estate planners. And so, I mean, it's just sort of it's highly, not everybody knows about it. And, if you have a special needs child, there's some things you want to do after the break. I'll give you some other ideas on how to deal with maybe some extra money to deal with a special needs child, and also have them maintain their government benefits. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
I think the problem is you can't.
Huh?
I think the problem is you can't hear it.
I can't hear it, I know.
Do you have his volume up?
No, that's not it. Because if I do that, it's got to come through here.
Because I can't hear him. I mean, I just hear the music. He's whispering.
Nobody should go hungry for the holidays, so join Will Norman Wednesday for a holiday food drive. Live at Metropolitan Health Group in Metairie on Transcontinental. We'll be harvesting hope for the holidays.
This is how I felt. This is how I felt last night when Tracy. Like, oh.
I know. It felt like I was in a Netflix show. It's like you know what I'm saying? It was like one of those shows that you see the.
It was like, what I felt like? I felt like I was in the middle of a marital spat. I felt like I was in the middle of a very passive-aggressive marital spat. But I guess if you don't know, you would assume that they were. I guess you would assume they're still married. I don't know, but there was definitely no intimate interactions.
No. They wouldn't even stand next to each other.
No, I know. She is one angry woman, though. Ooh.
Today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834.
Rick called me one day. He said, I just saw Tracy. I haven't seen her in months. She got new legs. Stuck on. How do you get new?
That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and that's why we're paying
pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carman deal, I'll pay you $100.
I think her standing up there saying everybody can give $1,000. He's like etched in my brain.
When's the last time you cleaned your air conditioning system and air ducts?
Do it or else.
Like most people, never. If you could see what's probably in there, layers of dust, mold,
What are you going to say next? What are you going
Talk about life insurance policy, making a trustee, making a trust beneficiary.
Or you have to name them.
Yeah. You make the trust. You create the trust.
I know, but you could just name them.
I don't know if you can or can't. I mean, technically, they'll probably do it, but technically you can't.
I know, but there's been many that I've seen.
I know, and I don't think it's correct. Because it's not in existence. You can't name as a beneficiary something that's not in existence.
I know, but I've seen it done.
I'm just telling you, I've seen it done, but it's done incorrectly.
Because the clients that I'm dealing with, they're going to have a whole lot of money. And so for his 401k and his life insurance, I just told him to, typically I would say you need two trusts, you need two more because you can't mix those money. But I was like, they don't have a whole lot.
Look, I get it. It's like, I did that through, someone had a couple million in their IRA. I'm like, could you?
No, I know, but these people don't.
I know, I agree. Look, when there's a little money and they don't, and you got on the intestate succession, I just tell the judge, I will put it in the trust, okay? And he signs off on it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll do. I'll get out. You want me to get out at 48, 49? All right, I got it. All right. It's about 3 minutes.
To go back in, and that's it?
We'll do 3 minutes for this segment.
You have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's all things legal on WWL and streaming live on the Audacy, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nico, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakwood Heart Jewelers Talk and Tax line 504-260-1870.
All right, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Also, there's a little dilemma if you have a special needs child. Let's say you got 4 kids,
okay,
one special needs, but you want to get all 4 of your kids equal, but you need more money for your special needs child.
Okay.
One of the things you can do is you can buy a life insurance policy and make the beneficiary of the life insurance policy the special needs trust. So that's one way that you can just get some extra money to the special needs child who will probably need it and still be able to give what you want to your remainder of your to the remainder of children. Mm-hmm. So that and also too, you'd have to, if you have a big 401k or IRA, you'd also have to do a trust. It's a special needs IRA trust, which is somewhat complicated, but it can be done. It's just a little more to it, where you make that the special needs IRA trust or 401k trust be the beneficiary, as opposed to just giving it to them, because if you give it to them in an IRA, again, they would lose their benefits. So those,
And
yes,
you and I were talking about just the naming the trust versus creating a living trust.
right. Yeah,
It's kind of a. I think there's a safe way
yeah,
to do it, and then you're taking a look at what it costs to do it.
right.
You can name the special needs trust as it, and hopefully it'll bounce back into your special needs trust that you've done in your will, or you can. The safest way is to create a trust.
Right. You create a container right now to receive
Right,
it.
because one of the theories is that you can only name a beneficiary that is in existence now. Like you couldn't name any of my future children and write that down as
Right.
a successor
Beneficiary,
or a
no.
contingent.
Or beneficiary.
No.
Or primary
Right.
beneficiary. So yeah, you'd want to create, and also too, if you had an annuity that had a self-directed beneficiary, you'd have to maybe do that also.
Right.
So, but just those are ways to maybe get some extra money to someone who has special needs, while also being able to pass on what you wanted to your children who don't have the special needs.
Right.
So there you go. Okay, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
From WWL for breaking sports news, powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM.
What's that?
Download the BetMGM app.
About 3 minutes.
Visit BetMGM.com today.
3 to 4 minutes.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Jeffrey DeVotion, official entry lawyers of Enron.
I don't know. Not your playlist.
My name is Whitney Allen.
Gotta be more specific.
I never thought in a million years I'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happens. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's done online. You can get a quote in seconds. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids, clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study from hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Black Friday deals before they're gone at iamhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business. And let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Bonchak.
Did we get the refund yet?
And we'll come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited. 504-717-6253.
Don't forget about the
717-6253. Or visit us at
state check.
Yeah.
I thought there was more.
I thought there was more too. I'll have to check.
Technology, health sciences, and the arts. Our career-focused degrees and certificates are affordable, flexible, and transferable. Whether you're starting your post-high school education or want to advance or change your career, Delgado has something for you. Step closer to being unstoppable at Delgado Community College. Visit dcc.edu to learn more today.
You think we're the only ones that noticed last night because we knew what was going on, or you think everybody else is?
I think a handful of people knew. The rest of the people were oblivious.
Or do you think that they thought that that's just how she is? Or just...
I think very few people knew.
But even if you didn't know the backstory, wouldn't you think?
No, you
Would
think.
you think that that's just how she is?
Yeah, I think you would. Yeah. She
Small sliders, the best sliders, fries, and queso. Go big and small. I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Side.
She's always had a very
Want you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those.
Yeah, I think you think.
But most people picking up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't
I'm
demand
curious as to how
Switch to consumer cellular.
those
Our
people
plan
made
starts
that
just $20. And we
donation.
use the same powers as the big guys. Join
That's
the
Shane
win and
Guidry.
choose something better. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably going to
Open. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how. He was all over the place at the thing. I don't know.
He has a lot of money just dropping money.
I don't know.
Who's Shane Guidry?
Huh?
Who's Shane Guidry?
Oh, I thought you meant the
I never
old
heard
guy.
of who
He's
is that?
all he's all company.
Mm.
He's friends with Rabin.
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council. Jones Albert and Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Audacy, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talking Text Line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Michelle, if they want to contact you in God's country in Manville, how do they get in touch with you?
985-624-9697.
You're right. At the foot of the causeway.
At the foot of the causeway.
North foot of the causeway.
That's right.
Like if you come off the causeway, you see tennis courts.
Yep.
And your building's the next building.
I can see all the toll booths.
You can, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's
see
right.
the toll booths and hear the pickleball players.
Oh yes. That used
tennis
to
courts have been made into pickleball courts, which is.
It used to be quiet before it was pickleball. You never see. Bing, 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 bing. That's it. So on the South Shore, we're at 504-214-9111. That's our new one. If you're 9111, you got a 911 deal. You call off.
241.
214.
214.
214-9111.
I'll probably remember that. I never could remember the Metairie office.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll still answer the 504-837-1304. But if you need more information on special needs trust, I mean that's a big deal. I mean that is a big deal on how you take care of your child. It's got special needs after you're going to heaven, and if you need help, it's we usually when we meet with client we do like a half an hour class on why they're doing it, not only do it. Right. This is why you're going to do it, just theory behind it.
Right.
And once you understand the theory behind it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I created a handout I give my people.
Yeah.
And what can be spent,
right.
How they would do it.
And we help out a lot of financial advisors who are helping plan for their client's future and their child, and it's just very, very important. I was glad we were able to do that. So, but if you want to, again, call Michelle, 985-624-9697, right?
Correct.
Or on the South Shore, 504-837-1304. It's no Saints football today, which gives us, it's good going into the bye week, at least with a little win. Because I just remember the days, I think was I in law school? Yeah, or I was just starting to practice when the Saints went to the playoffs the first time. And you walk into the court on Monday morning. Everybody's just happy. Everybody's happy. Even the person being sentenced to life in prison was happy because it's like the Saints won. But
I wonder if every city's like that.
No, it's not. It's not. That's why it's very unique with New Orleans.
See, I don't get that on the North Shore, but when I practice downtown.
The whole city.
The whole city, yeah. I know. You would go to lunch at the food court where it was before Macy's, before all that changed. But yeah, everybody's demeanor and everybody was happy. Even the bailiffs and CDC.
Sure, absolutely.
Curmudgeons.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a different move, and that's the uniqueness about New Orleans, because they didn't have a team in Los Angeles for 20 years, because even though they had 20 million people in the metropolitan area or whatever it is, 15 million. Nobody cared whether they won or lost. Right. I mean, you wouldn't even know. They're eating their tofu and tofu, and they're doing whatever they're doing. Talking to Mother Nature or whatever kind of things they do out in California. They didn't care, and they didn't want to use any disposable income. and one of the things we do here is we don't have a lot of disposable income, but
They'll spend it on
we'll spend it on the Saints, and that's what it's very unique. Only maybe Pittsburgh, Green Bay have that, and maybe Kansas City to a certain extent have that kind of relationship with their team, where they, it's just part of them. It's part of who they are. Even people who don't like football in New Orleans or don't watch it, it just lifts the whole city. So.
Yeah.
But I do think after 4 years of gross roster mismanagement, gross screwing up the draft, gross mismanagement of the cap, I mean, just you can't argue with it because this is a industry based on merit. You are what your record is, and you can't say, oh, we're making profit. No, you're not. You are what your record is. It's a tough business, and but that's. You have a little glimmer of hope because if you do have a quarterback, because Cincinnati was mediocre before they had Joe Burrow, Washington Redskins was struggling before Jaden Daniels. You can build around a quarterback, and they can mask a lot of deficiencies. And so we'll see. I mean, a little small sample size. So there you go. But all right. So, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll next week will be Albert and whoever he has. We'll be off. And then we'll be probably on sometime in January after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll probably be off most of the time because Saints will be playing at 12 o'clock.
Gotcha.
So,
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, and so we'll see you next. We'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Albert will have his. I guess he might have Jeff or one of his guests. And so you give us a call at 504-837-1304 or the offshore office.
985-624-9697.
All right. And y'all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.